My name is Reese Bonin, and today I'm here to lecture on the photoelectric effect. First, let's cover how it came to be, then go into a helpful analogy, and finally discuss why the photoelectric effect is crucial to understand. The photoelectric effect happens when a metal plate is exposed to a certain frequency of light, resulting in an electron being released. This confused physicists at the time, as no matter how intense the light was, if it didn't meet the right frequency, nothing would happen. So right here I have my three photoelectric plates as denoted on my whiteboard. And they all require at least a green frequency or higher to be emitting an electron. So right here, this one requires green light. So let's shine a green light at it and see what happens. Well, since it requires green light frequency or higher, and a green light shown at it, an electron should be emitted. So let's look at orange next. Orange is lower on the spectrum than green, so it would have less frequency. So it doesn't matter how intense this beam would be, if it has less frequency, then an electron would never be emitted. Next, let's take a look at blue light. Blue is further on the spectrum than green, meaning it would have a higher frequency. So it could be the faintest little sliver of blue light, but since it has a higher frequency, an electron would be emitted. So physicists were also stumped on how light, which was believed to be a wave at the time, could do such a feat. Albert Einstein was the first one to correctly explain this by building on Max Planck's principle of quantized energy, which means that energy has a base unit that can't be broken down any further, and that all energy is just a multiple of this base. He deduced that light is a wave and a particle at the same time, and creating the concept of wave-particle duality. And the particles themselves are called photons, or particles of light. This made sense as only another particle with sufficient energy could hit an electron to get it to move. But for a photon to have the minimum energy required, it must have a minimum frequency of light. The higher the frequency of the photon, the higher the energy. Here's an example to help you remember this. Think of the photon as a key and the electron as a door. Any door key can fit any key, but if it's not the key with the right teeth, it won't open no matter how much energy you put into turning that key. However, if you have the correct key and you stick it in the door, it will open with ease, just as a photon would bump an electron away if it had the right frequency. This concept is very important to understand, as it started the quantum revolution and used in daily life with solar energy cells and many other ways. Newton's laws of motion didn't apply as overwhelmingly as it did in normal life, and new laws must be discovered. The photoelectric effect was just the first in hundreds of discoveries that brought upon new ideas about the smallest regions of our world, but that doesn't make it any less important.